Unit 13. That's a possibility. American possibility. O as a sound. Page 86. 1. Poop. American pop. O a sound. A short, sharp sound. Constantly. Constantly, often. T silent. All the time. Eater. British. Eater. British. American eater. Eater. T soft D and R. Eater. Eater. Someone who always eats a lot. Someone who always eats a lot. Eater. Always. L silent. Messy. Not neat. Not neat. Be short of money. Not having the amount of money needed for something. Be short of money. Not having the amount of money needed for something. Peeve. Peeve. Peeved. Bother. To be annoyed. To be annoyed. Make link between E and the vowel A. Be annoyed. To be annoyed. Get in the last word. Get in the last word. Get in. T soft D between two vowels E and I. Get in the last word. Say something else. Say something else. Even when conversation seems to be over. Get in the last word. Say something else. Even when conversation seems to be over. 2. Break down. Break down. Broke down. Broken down. Emergency. Something dangerous or serious. An injection. An injection. To give an injection to a patient. An injection for patient. 5. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusion. Don't jump to conclusions. To get the facts without having enough information. To get the facts without having enough information. On the deck. American on. On the deck. The ship's floor. The ship's floor. Seasick. You will vomit because of the movement of the ship. You will vomit because of the movement of the ship. Vomit, British, American, vomit. Railing. Metal or wooden posts to form a fence. Metal. British, metal, American, metal. T soft D. Metal or wooden posts to form a fence, such as the railing of the ship. Scared. Frightened. Very afraid. Very afraid. Cruise. A journey on a large ship. Cruise. A journey on a large ship. Cruise ship. A large ship for traveling on. A large ship for traveling. Cruise ship. A large ship for traveling on for pleasure. Pleasure. This word in British we say pleasure. Pleasure. But in American, pleasure. 6. Words of exercise number 6. Leash. A chain or leather strap. A chain or leather strap used to lead a dog. Leash. A chain or leather strap used to lead a dog. Sleepwalking. American walking, British walking. Sleepwalking. Getting out of bed and walking during sleeping. During. American during. During sleeping. So when I have ing, I can make the G silent, so I can say sleeping. Burst out laughing. Burst out laughing. To suddenly start laughing. To suddenly start laughing. This is just to laugh without a reason. Mad. Crazy. Let's have the book. Unit 13. That's a possibility. Possibility. British, American. Possibility. T, soft D, and O as a sound. That's a possibility. 1. Snapshot. Pet peeves. Why did that some people? Pet peeves are noisy eaters. Eater, someone who eats a lot. So when the person eats, he makes a lot of noise. He or she makes a lot of noise. So what are the pet peeves? What make you angry? You look at the picture here. The young lady, she's very angry. She is shocked. She's very nervous. So what are pet peeves? Are noisy eaters? Always ask for favors. Always ask for favors. They ask all the time to do a favor for them. Constantly interrupt. Constantly interrupt. They try to stop you while you are talking. They interrupt the conversation. Are late all the time. Not on time, not early, but late. Read over my shoulder on the subway. Read over my shoulder in the subway. So on the subway they start to read over my shoulder. Chat online while talking on the phone. So they chat on the internet while they're talking on the phone, on the telephone. Always want to get in the last word. Always want to get in the last word. Throw their garbage in the recycling bin. So they threw the garbage in the recycling bin. They don't cover their mouths when they cough. So people who make me bothered are those who don't cover their mouths when they cough. Cough, this is cough. GH as fast sound, cough. Make popping sounds when they chew gum. Make popping, British popping, American popping. To pop, pop, noun, sharp, sharp, short sound. Sharp, short sound, pop. Make popping sounds when they chew gum. To chew gum. So these are some of the pet peeves. Which of the pet peeves do you have about people you know? Which one is the worst? So what is the most difficult and the worst one here? All of them are too bad, but the worst is that when people chat online while talking on the phone, you don't know what is the person is saying. He's talking to the person on the internet or he's talking to the person on the telephone. Underline a pet peeve you could be accused of. When and why are you guilty of it? When and why are you guilty of it? So here in this exercise, you'll choose a complaint that your friends asked you or accused you, that your friends accused of. You explain to your friends or your classmates the occasion, when and why. Are there any pet peeves in the list that don't annoy you? Some of them are not annoying. For example, make popping sounds when they chew gum. Don't cover their mouths when they cough. So maybe I don't care about these peeves. Look at the picture. Exercise 2. Conversation. What happened? Look at the picture here. What do you see? A young lady, a young man. The young lady is very angry. She looks at her watch. Someone is late. The man is very angry too. There are a lot of people So this is like a barbecue. This is a party, maybe a barbecue. So what happened? Exercise 2, conversation. What happened?
Unit 13. That's a possibility. Page 86, Exercise 2, Conversation. What happened? Part A. Listen and practice.
You asked Beth to be here around 7 o'clock, didn't you?
Yes. What time is it now?
It's almost 8. I wonder what happened.
She might have forgotten the time. Why don't I call and see if she's on her way?
A few minutes later.
I got her voicemail, so she must not have turned on her cell phone.
I hope she didn't have a problem on the road. Her car could have broken down or something.
Of course, she may have simply forgotten and done something else today.
No, she couldn't have forgotten. I just talked to her about it yesterday. I guess we should start without her.
So, Jackie and Belle, you asked Beth to be here around 7 o'clock, didn't you? So here, ask, the past ask, make the D, T in speaking, because the last verb ends with K, asked. Didn't you? Didn't you? In American say, didn't you? I can make the T silent because N before the letter T and make a link. Didn't you? Yes. What time is it now? It's almost 8. Almost. It's about 8 o'clock. L silent. It's almost 8. I wonder what happened. I was asking myself what happened. She might have forgotten the time. Forgotten. British, forgotten. American, forgotten. O as a sound, T as soft D. She might have forgotten the time. Why don't I call and see if she's on her way? A few minutes later. Later, T soft D, R, later, later. A few minutes later. Belle? I got her voicemail, so she mustn't have turned on her cell phone. Cell phone. An American who can make the E as a sound, so cell phone, cell phone. So maybe she didn't turn on her cell phone until now. Her cell phone is off. Her mobile is off. I hope she didn't have a problem on the road. Her car could have broken down or something. Maybe her car broke down. Of course, she may have simply forgotten and done something else today. Maybe she forgot our party, our appointment, and she did something else. No, she couldn't have forgotten. I just talked to her about it yesterday. So I talked about this yesterday. I think we should start without air. Without air. H silent and make the T soft D. Without air. Without her, we say without air. I guess we should start without air. T soft D, H silent, and the T between U and E. So here, what time is it? Now it's 8 o'clock. Who didn't come? Beth didn't come. At what time should Beth be here? Beth should be here at 7 o'clock. What happened? Beth might have forgotten the time. She might have forgotten the time. Did Bill call her? Did Bill call Beth? Yes, he did. He got her voicemail. What does Jack think would happen for Beth? Maybe her car could have broken down. What about Bill? Bill guesses that she may simply have forgotten. She may have simply forgotten and done something else. Did Jackie talk to Beth yesterday? Yes. She talked to her about the party yesterday. Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What happened?
Page 86, Exercise 2, Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What happened?
Oh, here comes Beth now.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I had an emergency.
Oh, nothing serious, I hope.
Well, kind of. It was Sally.
Sally, your dog? What happened?
Well, I was just about to leave when she started acting strange. Then she just passed out.
Oh my gosh.
I panicked. I thought she had died at first. I had to rush her to the emergency clinic.
But is she okay? Oh, I hope she's all right.
Yeah, she's going to be fine. The vet said it was some kind of virus. So he gave her an injection, and I had to leave her with him. I'll go by later and pick her up. Oh, but guess what?
What?
She's going to have puppies.
Congratulations. You're going to be a grandmother.
Very funny, Bill.
Yeah, Bill, very funny.
What happened? Bess's dog was sick. Bess's dog was sick and she had to take her to the vet. Vet, veterinarian, the doctor of animals. Exercise number 3, pronunciation, reduction and past models. So here in this exercise, we're gonna take a reduction, an abbreviation, a shortage.
Page 87, Exercise 3, Pronunciation. Reduction in past modals. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice how have is reduced in these sentences.
He must have forgotten the date.
She might have had a problem on the road.
Notice how have is reduced in these sentences. So in these sentences, have becomes if, like I have, I've. He must have forgotten the date. She might have, not she might have, no, we say she might have had a problem on the road. She might have had a problem on the road. So I have, I've. But here, this is past models. What does it mean, a model? Model like may, might, shall, should, can, could, will, would, must. And then we have, she must have, becomes if, he must have, she might have, plus past participle, forgotten, had. For American, forgotten. So we'll make reduction after must and might over the models. We'll make have, if, apostrophe, like apostrophe. Part B.
Page 87, Exercise 3, Part B. Listen and practice. Notice that not is not contracted or reduced in these sentences.
He may not have remembered it.
She must not have caught her bus.
He may not have remembered it.
She must not have caught her bus.
He may not have remembered it.
She must not have caught her bus.
When we have the past modals, such as may, might, shall, should, can, could, must, and we have negative, not, we don't have any reductions. He may not have, I didn't say if, but have. He may not have remembered it. He may not have remembered it. She must not have caught her bus. Caught her, T soft D and H here is silent. She must not have caught her bus. Or she mustn't have caught her bus. Here I can make the T soft D, caught becomes caught her bus, and H is silent. So the T gonna be between U and E because the GH also is silent. So GH is silent and this letter H after T is silent. So the T gonna be between U and E. Exercise number 7, grammar focus.
Page 87, Exercise 4, Grammar Focus. Past modals for degrees of certainty. It's almost certain.
She must have left already. She must not have turned on her phone.
It's not possible.
She couldn't have been at home.
It's possible.
She may have forgotten the time. She might have forgotten the time. She may not have remembered the time. She might not have remembered the time. Her car could have broken down.
Past modals for degrees of certainty. Certainty, to be sure. It's almost certain means you are sure. She must have left already. She mustn't have turned on her phone. So here you are sure. This is like 90%. So here you have, we use must have plus past participle. In negative, must not have plus past participle. If something not possible, so here, not possible, she couldn't have been at home. She couldn't have been at home. So this is not possible. If it's possible, you can use may or might. So I can use may, this is like not sure, but it's like 50%. You are not sure, 50%. Might, this is like 30 or 20%. She may have forgotten the time. She might have forgotten the time. She may have not have remembered the time. She might not have remembered the time. Her car could have broken down. So if you are sure, use must. This is like more than 90%. If it's possible, you can use may, 50%, or might, 30%. If it's not possible, you can use couldn't plus have plus PP, past participle. Now, let's have this wonderful video with Mr. Kyle Relfson about the grammar.
Hi, and welcome to the video for Unit 13 of Book 3 in the Interchange series. Today we're going to be talking about past modals of certainty. Okay, now before we talk about the past modals of certainty, let's take a look at the present modals of certainty. So here we have a teacher, right? And he's teaching about the modals of certainty. Okay? So we've got must, could, and may or might. And may and might are the same thing. We use them in the same way in this context when we're talking about certainty. Certainty means how positive we are about what we're saying. Okay? So everything's good. He's teaching the lesson. Okay? We've got our students. We've got Emily. We've got Eric. And we've got John. Wait, no. We don't. We don't have John. So Eric's thinking, where is John? So he says to Emily, hey, Emily, where's John? And Emily is going to make some guesses, right? She's going to speculate about where John is. Now, for Emily to make her guesses, she's going to use the modals of certainty that she learned in class. So, when she's thinking about possibilities for where John is, she's thinking, definitely I think that he is sick, right? Looks like he's sick over here. She's thinking definitely that's what's happening. So she's going to use her modal must to say that she's very positive about what she thinks. She says, well, he must be sick, right? She's very positive about that. She's almost 100% sure about what she's saying. Or she can use the negative and she can say, well, he must not feel well, okay? So we're using must and we're using must not to indicate that we are almost 100% sure that what we're saying is true. So she's for when we're thinking things that we're definitely sure about. Okay, she could also think, well, look, possibly, looks like he's traveling, he's on vacation, right? He's going somewhere. So she's thinking possibly that's what's happening. Okay? For possibly, we're going to use our modals of could. So she says, well, he could be on vacation. That's possible. Or he couldn't be here. That's impossible that he's here. So again, when I use could and when I use couldn't, those are my modals for when I think about something as possible. That what I'm saying is possible. Okay? Now, let's look at the third situation. Here John is, and it looks like he's running, he's looking at his watch, right? So she's thinking maybe this is what's happening. When we think maybe, we're using our modals might and may. So she's thinking, well, he might be late. Or, in the negative, he may not be on time. Again, when I use might or may, and this condition may not, okay, it's for when I'm thinking that maybe this is what happens. It's not 100% sure. It's more of a doubt. I'm not positive about what I'm saying. So I use might and I use may. Good. Okay, so let's take a look at our past modals. Just a quick review of what a past modal is. Now, from the previous units, we saw that a past modal is a modal plus have is my auxiliary and past participle. The past participle is things like gone, seen, walked, talked, taken, given. Those are past participles. So remember, we're always using the past participle of the verb. Okay, so we've seen some previous past modals. For example, should have. Now, should have I use a lot with suggestions and regrets. As an example, I could say, I should have gone to the party. Right? I can use could have if I'm thinking about possibilities of something, and I could say, I could have gone to the party as a past possibility, right? And I can say would have when I'm talking about intentions or hypotheticals. So for example, I would have gone to the party, right? Always using a modal, always using our auxiliary verb have, and always using our past participle, in this case, gone, right? So that's what makes a past modal. Good. So now that we reviewed what modals of certainty are, and we reviewed what past modals are, let's combine them to look at our past modals of certainty. Okay, our past modals of certainty, we use why? Well, we primarily use them to describe speculation for why something happened. So notice we're talking about speculation for something that happened in the past. Why did something happen in the past? So let's take a look at this situation over here. Okay, here we have a guy. Looks like he's at work, right? Looks like he has someone not very happy with him. He's getting kicked out of his office, right? So what happened to him? He got fired from his job, right? He lost his job. He was fired. His boss said, "You no longer can work here. Go home. I don't ever want to see you again," right? Okay, so the natural question is like, well, why? Why did he get fired? Why did he get fired? I wonder why he got fired, right? Now, to answer that question, we're going to use our past modals of certainty to talk about why we think he got fired. Speculation for why he got fired. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this first situation here for definitely. So it looks like he's coming to work. His boss is looking at his watch. He doesn't look very happy. I'm thinking, okay, why did he get fired? Well, he definitely was late for work a lot, or something like that, right? Now, remember, what is my modal of certainty for definitely? You guys remember? Right, it's must. Now I'm using it in the past tense, so I'm going to use my modal must. Now if I want to be negative, I can say not, but I'm always using have as my auxiliary and my past participle, right? So if I want to say what happened in this situation, but in the past tense with my modal of certainty, I'm going to say something like this. Well, he must have come late too often. Okay? So there's my past modal of certainty. And I'm almost positive that that's what happened. So I'm using my modal must. If I want to say negatively, I could say, well, he must not have been very punctual. Again, my modal must have past participle. In this context, must not have past participle. So that's my past participle for why I'm being positive about what I'm saying, for why something happened in the past. Let's look at this situation down here, okay, for possibly. So it looks like he's sleeping at his job, so I'm thinking that's why he was fired. This is why he got fired. But it's saying, I'm not positive, but I'm just saying this is possible. What are my modals for possible? That's right. I use could. Right? Could. Now the past modal with have plus the past participle. Again, I can use not if I want to be negative. So let's look at an example. Why was he fired? He could have slept at work too much, right? Or I think, why was he fired? Well, he couldn't have been working very hard, right? So I'm using my modal, could, have, past modal, plus the past participle, or in the negative, couldn't, have for the past modal, and the past participle, to talk about the possibility for why he got fired, right? The possibility. Let's look at our third situation down here, okay? For maybe. Now, maybe it looks like he is yelling at the boss. That's not a good idea. His boss looks a little bit scared, right? That's not very respectful if that's your boss. So I'm thinking maybe. Maybe this is what happened. Maybe this is why he got fired. Remember our modal for maybe? Right, we have two. Might and may. So the past modal, we have might, may, have makes the past modal and the past participle for our verb. Now, he yelled at his boss. Maybe that's what happened. So using my modal, I can say, well, he might have yelled at the boss. If I want to be negative, I can say this. He may not have been very respectful. Okay. Again, I'm always using my modal. In this case, might or may not, or might not and may, plus my past participle, plus my auxiliary, the auxiliary have, plus the past participle yelled or been, right? Good. Now, all of these are talking about how positive I am for what I'm saying. Maybe down here, right, is like, not 100% sure, right? But I think that's possible, that's what happened. Here it's possibly this is what happened, right? I'm not saying how sure I am, just saying that it's possible that that happened. And definitely is like, I'm almost 100% sure this is what happened, okay? So, those are our past modals of certainty to describe speculation for why something happened. So, just to review and to put it all together, we just looked at the past modals of certainty. Past modals of certainty are used to talk about speculation about the past. Remember, it's about the past. That's why it's a past modal. So if I am definitely sure about what I'm saying, I use must as my modal, always using have and the past participle to make the past modal. If it's possible, I always use could plus have plus the past participle, and not if I want to say it's not possible. If I'm thinking maybe, I'm not sure about it, I'm going to use my modals might or may plus have plus the past participle, right? So those are my past modals of certainty to talk about speculation about the past. All right, good luck, guys.
Read each situation and choose the best explanation, then practice with a partner. Pay attention to the reduced forms in the past modals. So here, we have a situation and explanation. We try to match the situation with the explanation. We'll match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with A, B, C, D, E, F. Example number 1. Maura couldn't keep her eyes open. Why? So explanation. We try to deduct something. She must not have gotten enough sleep. So number 1, B. Number 2, Brian got a call and looked worried. F. He couldn't have heard good news. He couldn't have heard good news. News and also news. 3. The teacher looks very happy today. A. He may have gotten a raise. He may have gotten a raise. Gotten, British, American, gotten. A raise, an allowance. An allowance, a lot of money. 4. Jane is in a terrible mood today. D. She could have had a fight with her boyfriend. She could have had a fight with her boyfriend. 5. Jeff was fired from his job. Fired. To leave work. C. He might not have done his work on time. He might not have done his work on time. 6. My cousin is broke again. Broke, someone who doesn't have money. Someone who's in short of money. E. She must have spent too much last month. She must have spent too much last month. B. Pair work. Suggest different explanations for each situation in part A. So this is part A, and you will try to put your own explanation. Like, for example, Brian got a call and looked worried. F. He couldn't have heard good news. Brian got a call and looked worried. He might have heard that his wife in the hospital. Brian got a call and looked worried. He could have heard bad news. So here an answer is correct. You try to have different answers. Exercise number 5, listening, jumping to conclusions. To jump to conclusions, this means what is the meaning? When people jump to conclusions. Jumping to conclusions, when you start to think about the results of a situation without having the true information or all the information. So you got a mistake. You made a mistake. Now let's start to listen. Picture number 1. Look at the picture. What do you think would happen? What do you think happened? Offer an explanation for each event. So what happened? People, and they look from the railing. This is a railing of a ship. Maybe they are on cruise. So they look down. So you will think what? I'm gonna say someone was about to sink. Someone fell in water. Someone can't swim and he asks for help. So all of these are jumps for conclusions, and all of these explanations are wrong. Let's listen to the correct answer.
Page 87, Exercise 5, Listening. Jumping to conclusions. Part B. Listen to the explanations for the two events in Part A and take notes. What did happen? How similar were your explanations? 1.
I was on a cruise and saw something funny one morning. I was walking on the deck and I saw 3 people all bent over the railing. I thought maybe they were seasick or someone had an accident or something. So I went over to see if I could help. It turns out they were all bent over the railing because they were looking at some dolphins that were following the cruise ship. There were about 8 of them, and they followed us for a while. It was an amazing thing to see.
What did happen? They were looking at dolphins. They were looking at 8 dolphins. These dolphins were following the cruise ship, and they were amazing. Number 2, look at the picture. What do you see? A young lady, and there is a ladder. She tries to what? She's trying to climb the ladder. So what happened? Maybe there's fire. She's trying to get out the house and choose the ladder. Another explanation, maybe the door is closed and she's trying to get inside her house or apartment. Maybe she doesn't have a key. Now let's listen.
I'm so embarrassed. I can't imagine what people must have thought when they saw me out in my front yard in my pajamas. See, I had opened my front door to get the morning newspaper, but the wind accidentally blew the door shut behind me and the door locked. I couldn't get back in the house. I saw that my bedroom window upstairs was open, so I went into the garage and got a ladder. I was able to climb up the ladder and into the window. I'm afraid some of my neighbors might have seen me. I'll have to explain to them what I was doing the next time I see them.
What happened? She got out to get the morning newspaper. The door slammed. The door was shut. She was outside. She doesn't have a key. So what did she do? She got inside the garage and got a ladder. She climbed up the ladder to get inside the window, to get inside her house. She was wearing her pajamas and she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed. She must give an explanation to her neighbors. Exercise 6. Speaking. What's your explanation? What do you think were the reasons for these events? Suggest 2 different explanations for each. So here we're going to have 3 events and we'll try to suggest 2 explanations. 1. 2 people were having dinner in a restaurant. One suddenly got up and ran out of the restaurant. So what happened? Like, look at the picture here. A young man, a man, is in the restaurant and the second person ran away. So what happened? Imagine. So maybe they were having an expensive meal and then they don't have the money. They forgot their wallets, or one of them forgot his wallet. The second one doesn't have the money to pay the check or the bill. So the young lady ran out and she left the man alone. This has happened before. This has happened before. This is real story. A woman living alone returned home and found the TV and radio turned on. They weren't on when she went out. So imagine what happened. So in the morning, the young lady went to her work. She left the television and the radio off. When she returned back, she found them turned on. So during that time, two burglars got inside the house. They broke into the house and they searched for money. They didn't find money. So they started to turn on the television and they started to eat. They opened the fridge, they got some food, they started to eat, and they slept. They slept on the table. The lady quickly called the police and the police arrested them. This is a real story that happened in Canada. 3. Two friends met again after not seeing each other for many years. One looked at the other and bursted out laughing and laughed a lot without any reason. So what happened? Two friends, they didn't meet each other for a long time, and all of a sudden when they met each other, they bursted out laughing. They remembered something. Maybe they remembered something which makes them laugh hysterically. So here any answer is correct. Every student gonna tell his group about an explanation. Exercise number 8, perspective. She's driving me crazy.
Page 88, Exercise 8, Perspectives. She's driving me crazy. Part A. Listen to 3 friends talking to one another on the phone. Check the response you think is best for each person's problem.
Hi, Molly. Ramona's mad because she thinks I didn't ask her to go hiking with us. I sent her 4 emails, but she never responded.
Well, you know Ramona never answers emails. You should have called her on the phone. Oh, forget it. I wouldn't have sent so many messages. If Ramona can't bother to check her email, she'll just miss out on things.
Ramona, hi. I just got off the phone with Michi. She asked me for advice, but she never stops talking long enough to listen.
You could have been more understanding. Michi must have been upset and just needed to talk. I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute. How can you give her advice if she doesn't give you a chance to talk?
Michi, I can't believe that Molly still has my notes. I needed them for a test today. She never returns things.
Molly shouldn't have kept your notes this long, but I wouldn't have lent them to her the week before a test. Oh, Molly may have just forgotten about them. I would have just borrowed someone else's notes.
So here in this exercise, we'll listen to 3 friends talking to one another on the phone. You choose the response you think is the best for each one. Of course, here any answer is correct. This is up to your choice. Choose the correct answer for you. B. Do you talk about pet peeves with your friends? Do they give you advice? This is a group discussion. That's the end of unit number 13, part 1. Wish you all good luck. And now let's get the homework. Number 1, keep the words by heart. Number 2, listen and repeat. 3, answer 3 pages of unit number 13. Workbook. 4, www.cambridge.org/interchange. 5, watch the video of Mr. Kyle Ralphson about the grammar. Wish you all good luck. Hope you like it, share it, and subscribe for free. And subscribe now. Make link between E and the vowel A. Be annoyed. To be annoyed. Get in the last word. Get in the last word. Get in. T soft D between two vowels E and I. Get in the last word. Say something else. Say something else, even when conversation seems to be over. Get in the last word. Say something else, even when conversation seems to be over. 2. Break down. Break down. Broke down. Broken down. Emergency. Something dangerous or serious. An injection. An injection. To give an injection to a patient. An injection for patient. 5. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusion. Don't jump to conclusions. To get the facts without having enough information. To get the facts without having enough information. On the deck. American on. On the deck. Leather strap used to lead a dog. Leash. A chain or leather strap used to lead a dog. Sleepwalking. American walking, British walking. Sleepwalking. Getting out of bed and walking during sleeping. During. American during. During sleeping. Since when I have ing, I can make the G silent, so I can say sleeping. Burst out laughing. Burst out laughing. To suddenly start laughing. To suddenly start laughing. This is just to laugh without a reason. Mad. Crazy. Let's have the book. Unit 13. That's a possibility. Possibility. British American possibility. T soft D and O as a sound. That's a possibility. 1. Snapshot. Pet peeves. Why did that some people Unit 13. That's a possibility. American possibility. O as a sound. Page 86. 1. Poop. American pop. O a sound. A short sharp sound. Constantly. Constantly. Often. T silent. All the time. Eater. British. Eater. British. American. Eater. Eater. T soft D and R. Eater. Eater. Someone who always eats a lot. Someone who always eats a lot. Eater. Always. L silent. Messy. Not neat. Not neat. Be short of money. Not having the amount of money needed for something. Be short of money. Not having the amount of money needed for something. Peeve. Peeved. Peeved. Bother. To be annoyed. To be annoyable. Pet peeves. Are noisy eaters. Eater, someone who eats a lot. So when the person eats, he makes a lot of noise. He or she makes a lot of noise. So what are the pet peeves? What make you angry? You look at the picture here. The young lady, she's very angry. She is shocked. She's very nervous. So what are pet peeves? Are noisy eaters? Always ask for favors. Always ask for favors. They ask all the time to do a favor for them. Constantly interrupt. Constantly interrupt. They try to stop you while you are talking. They interrupt the conversation. Are late all the time. Not on time, not early, but late. Read over my shoulder on the subway. Read over my shoulder in the subway. So on the subway they start to read over my shoulder. The ship's floor. The ship's floor. Seasick. You will vomit because of the movement of the ship. You will vomit because of the movement of the ship. Vomit, British, American, vomit. Railing. Metal or wooden posts to form a fence. Metal. British metal, American metal. T soft D. Metal or wooden posts to form a fence, such as the railing of the ship. Scared. Frightened. Very afraid. Very afraid. Cruise. A journey on a large ship. Cruise. A journey on a large ship. Cruise ship. A large ship for traveling on. A large ship for traveling. Cruise ship. A large ship for traveling on for pleasure. Pleasure. This word in British we say pleasure. Pleasure. But in American, pleasure. 6. Words of exercise number 6. Leash. A chain or leather strap. A chain or